Okay, hello everybody. We are here in the lab again. Today I'm here with Daniel. Daniel is a PhD student and he is the first author of a new paper that we just got published in the Journal of Physiology. And instead of just showing the paper like I did before, what I want to do is just talk a little bit about what we did, the importance of what we did, the relevance of this study. So for this, we're going to have Daniel explain to us what actually was done. So Daniel, tell us what was the objective of this study.
Okay, so first off, the paper studies brown adipose tissue. Now there are two main forms of adipose tissue. There's white and there's brown. White adipose tissue we know commonly as the form that stores energy. Brown adipose tissue, on the other hand, actually burns energy and releases it as heat. Now, this type of brown adipose tissue, or brown adipose tissue in itself, is good in cold conditions because that heat production allows for the maintenance of thermal body temperature. But brown adipose tissue also burns excess energy from a meal that we take in. And so if we eat too much, it'll burn off that energy that we consume in excess. Now, the question we had is, if this is the case, why is it that we eat and eat and eat and get fat? Why doesn't the brown adipose tissue compensate in that aspect or under those conditions? And so that was the main objective of our study, was to actually investigate mechanisms within the brown adipose tissue that could be affected by the obesogenic diet. And we hypothesized that the obesogenic diet would be shutting down the fat burning capacity of the brown adipose tissue.
Okay, so in order to do this, what we did was we fed rats for 8 weeks.
Yes.
A diet that is rich in fat and sugar, which is typical of an obesogenic diet. That is what most people actually eat on a normal condition, and also leads to obesity in humans. So we use the same kind of dietary intervention. So after 8 weeks, Daniel, we actually took the fat out. So we extracted the fat from the animals, and especially the brown adipose tissue. So we extracted, and then we isolated the brown fat cells. So with those cells isolated, now we were able to test specifically the function of those cells under a normal condition and also under obesity conditions. So what is the main finding that we got there, Daniel?
So as we hypothesized, the ability of the brown adipocytes to burn energy was significantly impaired in the animals fed the obesogenic diet. And instead, energy substrate like fat and sugar was stored as fat inside of the brown adipocytes. So instead of being a thermogenic tissue, it was now adapting properties of the white adipose tissue as being storage-centric. And that conversion of function is known as whitening of the brown fat.
Okay, so in other words, the brown adipose tissue lost some of its capacity to burn energy and became more of a storage compartment. So which made it more of the subcutaneous adipose tissue that we have that actually stores energy. So it's an important finding because the relevance of this is that if we want now use brown adipose tissue as a means to treat or prevent obesity, we want to be able to maintain its activity in a thermogenic way. We don't want it to become white. Is that the idea, Daniel?
Absolutely. Even if you are in consumption of an obesogenic diet, if you're able to maintain the activity of the brown adipose tissue, you may be able to mitigate some of those obesogenic effects that are occurring.
Okay. So is there any approach that you think that could be used to do this? Is the diet, is there a dietary approach that could also be used as a means to do this?
Yeah, so we've been studying an intervention known as the ketogenic diet, and we have some data that we haven't published yet, but a diet that is also very high in fat, but completely devoid of carbohydrate, which is the ketogenic diet, seems to maintain the activity of the brown adipose tissue. And those are findings that we're looking to publish as well.
Okay, so it's like our next step,
a work in progress
in the research in this field. So It's a very, very interesting approach because we can look at the basic mechanisms that regulate brown adipose tissue function. And with that, by manipulating different diets, we may be able to come up with an alternative way to maintain the normal thermogenic activity of brown fat, and maybe be useful means to reduce fat mass, adiposity, and keep people lean. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you very much.
See you in the next.